Welcome, everybody, to another thrilling episode of HomeKit Insider. You've got me, Andrew O'Hara, and here with the man who is most famous for the number of Cheez-Its he can eat in one sitting. It is Steven Robles. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I do love some Cheez-Its. Not going to lie there. I also will say, have you ever done the 10 saltines in a minute challenge? You ever tried that?
I have not.
Yeah. 10 saltines in a minute, and you can't drink anything in between, and you got to try and do it. Your mouth gets very dry. It's really torture. I don't know why anyone would do it, but I did it in college, and I managed to do it. 10 saltines in under a minute. So, there you go. Don't try a gallon of milk. Yeah, don't try a gallon of milk in an hour. My roommate tried that. That did not turn out well, I'll tell you that. Don't do that. Hey, I want to say...
It doesn't sound great.
No, it's not great. Not great. I want to say, Jennifer Toohey, thanks for being on the show and filling in last week. You guys did a wonderful job going back and forth and did a little musical episode, or aspiring musical episode. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thanks, Jennifer, being on. All right. Well, let's do some 5-star review shout-outs, and then we have a ton of news. You actually had a press event for this one thing. I'm uncovering leaks on Twitter of HomeKit devices. That's right. I got some news I'm going to bring to the table myself as well. So let's get to all of that real quick. We have wonderful listeners and viewers. They're giving us 5-star reviews. S2580SS from Ireland. Max Games from Germany. Opinions Do Matter from USA. That's interesting. Prochnow, JA from USA. And these last two listeners, they snuck in a question with the review. And so maybe we do like a 5-second answer. I don't know. But Roy Lover from USA, he was asking about tips for Hunter Douglas shades. I'm not sure. You can use them. That's a good tip. They're great HomeKit shades.
There's my best tip.
Yeah, you have some Hunter Douglas shades, right? Some HomeKit ones?
Yeah, I really like them. They work really well. I have the top-down, bottom-up ones, so I can kind of move the section throughout the day, which really makes you get some visibility outside, but be able to block off like the top of the window or the bottom of the window. Then the remotes are dope. If you like the physical controls, check those out too. Those are my biggest tips.
There you go. Tips from Douglas Shades. And SoldShip58, his question is, if you could get one Nanoleaf wall product under $250, which would it be? I thought this was an interesting question because Nanoleaf now has a plethora, a cornucopia of wall devices that you can get, like the wood things. They have their lines. They have their shapes. So I don't know, Andrew, if you could get one Nanoleaf product under $250, what do you think you would go with?
Oh, gosh. I'm not up to date on all the price points, but the two that are kind of my favorite right now are those new blackout ones that they have that are kind of like a limited thing to celebrate their anniversary, but just all black pieces, all the accessories, everything. They look really cool. But I also like the lines a lot. Yes. Play around with it, see if you can come up with a cool design that you like, and then see if it'll be able to fit your budget. Because if you don't have something cool to display them as, it doesn't really matter. But those are my two favorite ones.
Okay, there you go. Well, I will say, so the lines, you can get the Smarter Kit, which is the starter kit basically, for $180 for the lines one. So that's pretty good. And then you can also get the Hexagon Smarter Kit for $180. Both $180. You can go with the shapes or the lines. I'm going to say I have the shapes. I actually gave it to one of my sons. He put it on the wall in his room. Shapes are cool. I would like to try the lines. And so I'm going to say if you're going to get one Nanoleaf thing, try the lines out. Try the lines. See how they do.
They're also like that indirect lighting, which I think is really neat. So it depends on the room. If you want like active functional lighting, you got to go with some sort of panels on the wall. Right. But if you want something that's kind of just for cool accent lighting, the lines are neat because it's indirect light that you can bounce off the wall and kind of customize with. And you have the multiple zones per bar and everything. They're just really cool.
Yes, very cool. All right, well, let's hit a bunch of news. My goodness, we have a ton. Philips Hue, and they have a ton of new announcements. Also, what's going on right now is, what is it, IFA? IFA is like that conference that's happening right now. And so there's a ton of news coming out of that as well. But Philips Hue, we're going to break it down kind of by product-ish. But the first thing they announced, there are a bunch of new bulbs. So Hue's going to have new bulbs coming out, new candelabra bulbs, which if you have like ceiling fans, these are kind of, bulbs with the smaller connector, the screw connector. And so they're going to have new candelabra bulbs, uses white ambiance modes. And they also have these new light guide bulbs. These bulbs are fascinating. There's basically like a cylinder inside these bulbs. That's what glows, illuminates the light. Different shapes, have an ellipses, a large globe, and a triangle. Full color, so you can change all the colors. They have a reflective glass finish. 500 lumens of light, and then white and black pendants to match and cover the base. So fancy new light bulbs. Now, you actually attended their virtual press conference. So what did they say or show about these?
So first up, those candelabra bulbs, they're slightly longer than the last generation ones, but they do allow you to switch that warmth, which I think is really important. Now they have ones that have like the candelabra base, the black instead of the white that was around them, and now they have these white ambiance versions. I think it's a big deal. There's still the filament style bulbs, I believe, that kind of looking at, so you can kind of see the filament on the inside, but I like that you now can choose cooler or warmer instead of just always warm, which is kind of a typical thing. Light guide bulbs, these were really neat to see. They're supposed to be almost like art pieces even when they're off, which is why they put this highly reflective coating on the outside that makes them almost look like, blown glass or something like that. And like you said, there's like a little light stem in the middle, and they create the light in the base of the bulb, and then that is directed up through that stem, which reflects it in all the different directions to give just a really cool looking effect. And like you mentioned, there are matching pendants to go with. So you can put these into any base that'll fit, just standard like E26, whatever base in the US, just normal Edison bulb base. But you can use these pendants that they sell separately that'll screw on to like hang from your ceiling. And they're designed with a very tall cover, so they cover the actual base of the bulb. So you just kind of see the glass sticking out of them, which is really neat. And those come in both black and white.
Very cool. Now, these pendant lights do range all the way up to like $90. So, I don't know if you want to like cover your house in these, but they do look really cool, I will say. Especially that triangle.
Hanging over a bar or a kitchen counter, something like that. These would be dining room table, all fantastic places.
That's true. Very true. They also have a new Hue Downlight, and this is supposed to mimic the look of canned lighting in a room, but you don't need a can. So this literally just mounts flush to like your drywall ceiling. It's got these little clips, so it'll hang onto the drywall. So you don't need a can in the ceiling, but it looks like a can. You can get those. It'll be $70 per light, but pretty nice. You don't have to worry about installing a whole can in your ceiling. You got this downlight. What do they say about it?
Well, so first off, this is only coming to North America. They say that is where this style, like can lighting, is most prevalent. They say they are seeing like in some smaller countries abroad, and they'll look at bringing these lights there when that market gets big enough. But for right now, it's only available in the U.S. But yeah, so I believe you just cut your hole, you put the box kind of up there, and then this clips right in behind your drywall in the super slim ceilings. So they talk about a lot of bathrooms and other areas that have lower ceilings or slim ceilings that they can't fit a whole can in there. And it's less complicated to do this as well. So basements, again, very slim ceilings down there. You want to maximize all your space. So these are really cool. And they're exceptionally bright, like 1,200 lumens of brightness here. So these are very functional lights. We've been looking at what to do in our basement as we kind of like work on remodeling it very slowly. And I'm like, wow, that would be like perfect for down here. I might need to get a bunch of these to install instead of some of the other ones that I was looking at. So these look pretty cool. I like those a lot.
Yeah, they look cool. Now, they also have a lot of new software coming out. The Mimic Presence feature, this will be part of the Hue app, and you can basically have your lights make it look like someone is home. Maybe you're traveling or on vacation, but you want to do that Home Alone, Kevin McAllister, cut out of Michael Jordan riding a train in your living room, as you say. It won't do that for you. The app won't do that, but it'll mimic the lighting as if someone is home. But apparently it can only be when it's dark outside. Is that the deal?
No, that is not the deal.
Okay.
You have an option. There's a lot of control over this Mimic Presence thing. So you can choose exactly which rooms you want to participate, what times of the day, and you can even set it as like automatically, like only run these after sundown or something like that. So that way it's more realistic that you're not doing it during the day, if it's bright out, whatever.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's cool. Mimic Presence feature. Now, also, I'm excited about these changes because if you've been listening to the last few episodes, I've had a long saga with my Hue Sync Box. The last we left it, I just disconnected it and was not going to use it because I was having too many problems. But there's going to be some at least software updates, because one of my initial reactions was, oh, this is weird. You have to use a separate app for the Sync Box as opposed to all your other Hue stuff. Well, now it's going to be brought into the main Hue app, and you'll be able to use your Sync Box and program it and do all that right in the one Hue app. So you won't need a separate app. 2 thumbs up for that. Glad that came out. Did you get any news about when that update was coming?
I do not remember off the top of my head. I'm not sure if they announced that or not. I would guess very shortly, but it's basically just going to go to the syncing tab inside of the Hue app, which is where the media controls, I believe, already, like the Spotify integration already exists.
Very good. And then along with that, they are releasing a new gradient light strip that's shorter specifically for like PC monitors. And so they have the long ones for around TVs. Now you'll be able to get that gradient light strip for around a PC monitor, which is really nice. And I wanted to throw this in here because with all my issues with the Sync Box, a listener on Twitter, Mark Van Setten, he actually tweeted a bunch of helpful information about the Sync Box and Dolby Vision and all that. Taught me some things I didn't know, like Dolby Vision. There's like a 30 hertz and a 60 hertz version of Dolby Vision, so it depends what version your TV supports. Crazy stuff. But he had one suggestion as far as my TV was flickering on and off whenever I used the Sync Box at any point in the chain, either between the Apple TV box and the receiver, between the receiver and the TV. Like, it would just blip out periodically, and it was annoying. So Mark had this recommendation where he actually has an HDMI splitter that supports 4K, HDMI 2.2, CEC control, even Dolby Vision. And he uses a splitter. So he goes the Apple TV into this splitter, and then splitter, one goes to the receiver, the other goes to the Hue Sync Box. And then this way, if there is any kind of flickering caused by the Hue Sync Box or some kind of weird connectivity issue, it won't affect the signal to the TV because that's a separate line. And the Sync Box is getting its own HDMI signal from the Apple TV. So if that was part of the issue, it should solve it. I thought this solution was crazy, and I loved it. And so I actually got one of these HDMI splitters. It's like, you can get one for like $30 on Amazon. And so I got one actually arriving today as we record. And so I will report back if that actually solves any of the flickering issues. But loved that solution. And I'm going to do it because I do like the gradient thing with the Sync Box. So that's pretty cool. So thank you, Mark, for all those recommendations. I'll report back and continue the saga of the Sync Box. Anything else in the press conference or press releases about the Sync stuff?
Yeah, I mean, not too much about the actual box for the TVs. That was only if they were migrating it over. But I thought the one for the computer was pretty awesome. And they even have these setups for different size monitors, like a 24 to
24 inch and 34 inch, or a 3-screen setup. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can do a larger monitor, a bigger monitor, and they curiously don't have a 2-monitor setup. And when I was at the conference, they mentioned the reason why was because in all their studies, no one used a 2-monitor setup because there'd be like a bar in the middle of your screen if you were using it as a one single screen. So people usually use the 3-monitor setup. So it's either 1 or 3 monitors. Those were the only use cases they found. So they didn't do a 2-monitor version, but they have a 3-monitor version that has like your light strip, then a small little like jumper of like 6 inches to span to the next monitor, then a light strip, and then another light strip. So it was a really cool idea to see how that would work. And then you could choose to sync like only one display or certain displays. So you don't have to sync them all, but you can if you want.
Wow, that's pretty slick. Okay. And then finally, Hue announced some new partnerships with Corsair. So Corsair RGB peripherals will be able to work with Hue Sync things, and also SmartThings, you'll be able to sync music. So tell me more about these partnerships. Does that mean it works with the Hue Hub? Is that kind of what it does?
Yeah, a little bit. So with Corsair, they already have all these RGB peripherals, right? You've got your keyboards, you've got your computer cases, all this stuff that you can build your lights into. Now those can be controlled through Hue, and you can do things like have your computer trigger your Hue lights. So your lights could change to red when your computer's temperature gets too high, or you could fire it off based on keystrokes. So some neat stuff they're doing there. I also found this so curious about this new partnership that formed, because for people who don't know, Corsair, well, a separate thing, bought that other half of what they bought, the Elgato line from Eve. Eve used to be like Elgato, and they had their gaming peripherals and creator peripherals, and they had the smart home stuff. So they spun
Right.
off Eve into Eve Systems, and then the Elgato stuff went to Corsair, and they still create a lot of the Elgato lights and keyframe or chroma key backgrounds and all sorts of stuff from them. But I just thought it was curious, like this former smart home kind of brand baked in there, and new partnership with Hue. Thought that was neat.
Interesting. Very cool. Well, this is exciting. New Hue products, and I'll be looking for those app updates because I definitely want to use the Sync Box again and see maybe if the performance improves with the new app. So very cool. Any last words on Philips Hue and their announcements?
I don't think so. It was a whole lot. We did half mention that SmartThings integration, but no one worry about it. It's only if you use an Android device, and none of you out there are doing that. So, but basically, it would just allow you to play music through SmartThings to like any music service and have it sync with your stuff. So instead of having that direct Spotify integration, as we have now, via SmartThings, you could basically tie any music to your Hue lights. So if you're like some Android person, that is an option for you. But we don't use SmartThings or Android devices around these parts.
Well, speaking of which, you were actually talking about Eve a moment ago, and Eve had some announcements as well. They actually are launching an Android app. So if there are Android users out there, yes, the Eve was actually going to support that. And they also have like Google Home and Amazon Home support, but we won't hold that against them. We really like Eve. But the more exciting announcements, one, I'm a leaker now, Andrew. I actually got like inside information. And by inside information, I just follow them on Twitter and they tweet replied to somebody. And but they didn't announce it officially anywhere. So I'm going to consider this a leak. But Eve, the official Twitter account at Meet Eve, said that the Eve Flare, which you can actually see behind me, that's that ball right there that is wireless, battery powered, but HomeKit. You can change the color. I really love it, but it's a little slow to respond, because it's Wi-Fi and all that. But they tweeted, I'm going to read this verbatim, "We plan to release a successor model to the first generation Eve Flare no later than Q1 2023. And so you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, that the Eve Flare will be updated no later than the first quarter of next year. So hopefully in the next 5 or 6 months, we're going to get a thread-enabled, updated Eve Flare. You can now call me a Stephen Leaker Robles. Thank you very much. That's all I'll say about that.
I think we're sticking with Steven Cheez-Its Robles.
Cheez-It Champ. So. Yeah, Cheez-It Champ.
Yeah.
But they also had an official announcement, too, which is that they are updating the Eve light switch. They are adding Thread, which is great. And this new Eve light switch will be three-way switch compatible, which the previous version was not. And then, of course, the Android support, but we won't talk about that. But three-way support, Thread for the Eve light switch. Really nice. No dimming still yet. Eve doesn't make any HomeKit dimmers, but nice to see this update to the light switch.
Yeah. We've been waiting for that for a while. I'm pretty sure Jennifer and I actually talked about it last week. We were like, how is there another version of the Eve Aqua and not a freaking light switch? Like, we're going to have three Eve Aquas.
Yeah, there's been 2 updates to the Eve Aqua in the time that the light switch just been sitting there. But now this light switch, it's interesting looking. It doesn't even look like a switch, right? I mean, it's kind of just like a flat, like, I don't even know. How would you call that? It
looks the same as the previous version, right?
It looks the same, but there was something a little bit different. Hold on, let me open this press release.
I know. Now I got to pull up my pictures.
In the notes. Oh, and while we look for this too, they also are updating the Eve motion blinds, and so there'll be like more options like Venetian blinds, honeycomb shades.
There's
things like that.
honeycomb shades, the blinds. I think those are the 2 big ones for that. And those EU folks out there,
right,
all of y'all, are getting a new shutter switch.
That's right. Shutter switch. So I'm looking at it right now.
Just assume I know what those are from Europe.
They know over there in the EU. So it does look exactly the same. There's a small slit and a green light that shows through the light switch. That
looks slightly different.
Yeah, it looks slightly different. I assume it's like a paddle switch. Do you have actually? I don't have the Eve light switch because I was all about dimmers. Do you have the first Eve light switch?
I do. Again, randomly something we mentioned last week, but I have it on my porch lights are that one. And oddly enough, like I almost don't want to switch it to the thread version because it's always so reliable and rock solid. I have our porch lights turn on when we come home and turn off when we leave, and they're in like my good night scenes and all that stuff, and it works perfectly. I mean, I've had no issues with Bluetooth on it. Maybe a little slow, but for a deck light, it doesn't matter that much, or porch light.
Does it? Click on the bottom and top, or is it just like one tap?
It's basically kind of like a capacitive surface. So that way you can like slap it anywhere and it's going to react.
Gotcha.
So
it doesn't click.
You could. I don't think so. I don't think. I mean, I have to run it now and hit it, but I don't think it does.
Okay, interesting. Yeah,
but I like it because like you don't have to hit kind of a certain spot. You can just like tap it and it works. It's a good switch.
Okay. Well, I might. I'm probably going to get this new Eve light switch because it's thread. And I have some Wemo non-thread versions that I got, building the house. And I think I'd like to try it. I'd like to try an Eve light switch. So, like I said, thread enabled. It's available October. So this comes out in about a month or so, at least here in North America. Not sure about the rest of the world, but October for here in America. So cool stuff from Eve. Also, other news from IKEA. IKEA is releasing an updated hub. It is €69, but this is going to be a thread border router hub for IKEA devices. It will also support Matter. I'll believe it when I see it, trademark. And this will be available in October as well. So if you're down for some IKEA smart home stuff and you want to integrate it with HomeKit, then this new hub is for you. Charges with USB-C instead of micro USB. So thumbs up, IKEA, for not doing micro USB. Well done. Very good. And then also, this was not an official thing, I don't think, but the Home with Apple account on Instagram, they said that Aqara has released the E1 Thermostat. This video is from Aqara. So this is a Aqara Smart Radiator Thermostat E1, and it also is compatible with HomeKit, just like all Aqara stuff, if you use it with a hub. And so if you need a heater thermostat, I guess this is not for AC and heat. This is just for a radiator. This is like one of those cylinders that you kind of screw into a radiator. But yeah, there you go. Aqara released that too. I didn't have much information on that. That was it.
I know. I just like how you were like explaining like the radiator valve. I'm like, anyone who has a radiator knows exactly what you're talking about. You don't need to try to explain the shape.
Fair enough.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, we don't have radiators in Florida because we have the opposite issue. We don't need to heat anything. We need everything to cool. We need to cool it down. Yeah, so that's the Aqara E1 thermostat. So you have a couple things in here, mysterious bullet points. So tell me, what you got here? What are these things?
Oh, this was very random. I did a video this week. This isn't even like specifically HomeKit related, but I was just going to share with you guys real quick. Did a video about updated version of HomePods. AirPods Pro coming, and I held up with this thing, which I've used for like the longest time. Have you seen this before, Stephen?
No, I don't know what that is. Andrew is holding a key ring that somehow attaches to the AirPods Pro case, and I assume there's like some faux lightning connector in there that holds the case to the keychain.
Yep, cool. That's it. It just pops on there. It's really neat. This is a titanium version. They have a stainless steel version. So it's called the Jura, G-U-R-A, J-U-R-A. And yeah, I've used it for a long time, and I just really liked it. And I held it up in the video yesterday, and randomly Patrick O'Neill, who's like he created like Olaclip for iPhone, and he also created this Jura thing. Yeah. He saw it and was like, hey, thanks for showing Jura in your video. He's like, I hope you don't mind, but I created a promo code for AI users if anyone wants one. So AI20 will give you 20% at gojura.com. So if anyone wants one for their AirPods,
that's amazing.
20% off.
And that's pretty cool. And do you find that it's been pretty secure? Like the AirPods have never just fallen off or anything?
Yeah, no, it holds on really well. I haven't had any issues, honestly. Clip on your backpack. Like, I mean, if you're in some place like sketchy where you worry about someone stealing them, like be more cautious. But especially like just around here and a lot of places I go, it's just handy to have this on there. So yeah, and then just it unclips right off. They're expected to fit on the new AirPods Pro as well if those do drop at Apple's event. But yeah, I like this little thing. I think it's really awesome. So if anyone wants 20% off, he also says, by the way, he's a big HomeKit fan. And his favorite devices, he loves his Apple TVs. He also has a garage door opener, and he likes the Circle View cameras.
Okay. Well, there you go. There you go. That's pretty cool. Links and show notes to that. The Jura, I assume it will fit also on like AirPods 3 and pretty much any AirPods case. I mean, is that?
I'm pretty sure all of the AirPods.
Okay. Very good. Well, that's really cool. I might get one of those.
Yeah,
that's
you do have to use their website link. So it's like I think it's like gojura.com. Yeah, and I believe that promo should work. AI20.
Link in the show notes. That's very cool. Side note, like you mentioned, new AirPods Pro might be coming as you listen to this episode, because we know all the HomeKiteers listen the day of release. I mean, that's just a fact.
The second of release.
Right, the second of release. That the Apple event is this week. As you listen to this or watch this episode on YouTube, youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. Apple event this Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern is the live stream. There will be press in person, but it's most likely going to be a pre-recorded event, much like most of the last 2 years. But obviously, new iPhone 14, Apple Watch Series 8 is expected. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think the over-under is? I think AirPods Pro Generation 2. I have a good feeling that that's going to be at this event. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain we're going to see. They're coming out, I would say, by the end of this year. I don't think it'll be... Maybe if they had to do like an early October event, but I don't think they're going to be much later than that. It's been nearly 3 years. I mean, October 30th, I think they were originally released in 2019. So nearly 3 years old now. Wow. And we've been doing more earbud comparisons, the Pixel Buds here. I got the Pixel Buds Pro, and I have the new Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro 2 Buds. And they're all getting so much better. I don't even know what the name is.
You're like Galaxy 2 Buds, 2 Pick Bro Pixel 2. Okay.
2 Buds, 2 Furious something.
That's right. Family. Sorry. I that's all I know from the Fast and Furious movies, all the memes about family. Okay. Yeah, there's been a lot of... I also I got a chance to review these, the Bear Dynamic... Again, they're like AirPods Pro, active noise cancellation, transparency mode. So many have come out since the first AirPods Pro. It's time. What do you think, though, aside from a good battery, because it'll be new, like AirPods Pro 2? I mean, the design, they already had short stems, like the AirPods 3 that just recently came out. There's been rumors that there might be some health features like temperature and stuff might integrate into the AirPods Pro. I don't know. We might see AirPlay 3 or some kind of high-fidelity wireless music communication. What do you think? What might be there?
I think you're going to get 3 big new features. Well, put big in quotes, depending on how big you think they are. First, I think they are going to expand battery life. That's one of the biggest killers right now. I mean, even new, the battery life is half of what some of these other ones are doing. When AirPods Pro came out originally, their battery life was better than everyone else. Well, most at least, but now it's just they're so far behind in terms of battery life. So I think we'll get extended battery life on these things, even if it's just from like better processing or battery management, power management from an H2 chip instead of the H1. But aside from a better battery life, I think we're going to get we're going to get changes to the case. We're going to get a speaker grill on the case and maybe like a little carabiner lanyard loop. Because so many cases launch with adding that on there, so I think it would make sense for Apple to do it directly. They could even sell freaking matching color ones or something. I don't know. But I think we're going to get the speaker grill and that on there. Find My Support will be better thanks to that.
U1 chip would be great too. U1, so you could do precision finding with AirPods would be amazing.
Yeah, I could see that, especially if they expand battery life to be able to easily maintain a feature like that for an extended period of time, even when the battery of the case is like kind of dead. Like you got some reserve battery to make sure that it's still findable for a while. Right. Just like how your phone is findable when it's lost.
Yes.
So anyway, I think we're going to get those 2 changes to the case, and then I do think they're going to improve audio quality. They could just improve it just as a generality, and then just like increase it a bit, increase the driver size or performance, something in there, maybe better audio processing with the H2. But I think they're going to tout better audio quality. The question is whether or not they're going to come out with their own new codec or change to enable that better
whatever
audio
wireless,
quality, lossless audio and stuff.
Yeah.
So everyone else is doing that too. I mean, we have aptX HD on wireless earbuds now, I believe. And then there's, Sony's got its own like LDAC or something over there that they're doing for lossless wireless audio on earbuds. So it's time for Apple to be able to do something, especially when they're touting so much in Apple Music. So it's a good tie-in to that. Even if most people aren't going to notice a difference, it's something they can at least tout that you're listening to this lossless audio. So I think this will be the three big things on this one. I don't think we're going to get a redesign or anything like that. Just some overall improvements over the last one. They've added so many features via software, so it's not like they've been like stale.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to them. I'll be jumping on those if they are released. And speaking of AirPods, I do want to throw in an AirPods Max pick. I actually got what's called the Max Stand. This is going to circle around to HomeKit in a second, so just hang in there. But this is the Max Stand. It's an Indiegogo campaign, but if you buy it now, you get it. I got mine in about a month and a half. And the Max Stand is just this little base right here, this base stand. And it comes with two of these little lightning dongles that plug directly into the AirPods Max. And it allows you to just place your AirPods Max on this dock, and it begins charging immediately. Charges wirelessly, with that little dongle. And it also puts the AirPods Max to sleep when you put it on this dock, even if it's not charging. And after using it for a few days, almost a week now, I love this thing. This is awesome. I love it because I can just put my AirPods Max and they're charging, and it puts it to sleep so I don't see AirPods Max, because I had them on a stand before, and they looked nice on the stand and they were easy to pick up, but they were always active. And so if I was on my Mac and I was about to jump on a call and I wanted to use my AirPods, maybe I was using my AirPods 3 for the call, I would see AirPods, and I wouldn't know which one are these and which ones are the AirPods Max. And so I want them to be asleep when I'm not using them. And so this dock puts them to sleep. Love that. But my one concern was, if I have this dock plugged in and the AirPods Max sitting on there all the time, they'll be always charging, and I'm kind of a battery, I don't know, I get concerned about battery, okay? So I don't want these things charging 24/7. And Care HomeKit on Twitter had a great suggestion because he actually has the Max Stand, and what he did was plug the Max Stand into HomeKit plug, into a HomeKit smart plug, and then created an automation that it charges regularly but turns off, also regularly. So it's not charging all the time. Loved that idea, and now I have done it. I've used a SwitchBot HomeKit plug. I had one of those sitting around, so plugged it in, and right here I have my AirPods Max charger, a little bright there, but my AirPods Max charger HomeKit plug, that's what the dock is plugged into. And then, of course, made an automation. And so basically the AirPods Max will charge every day from 6 a.m. for 2 hours, and then the charger will turn off and they will stop charging. And it'll only do it on weekdays that's when I'm here working at the desk and when I typically use the AirPods Max. And so every day I can be sure that they are fully charged at the beginning of the day, take them right off the dock, wear them, good to go all day. And I never have to think about battery again. I'd never have to plug in a lightning cable to the AirPods Max again because that's annoying. Don't have to use the undergarment case that came with the AirPods Max. And I love this entire solution. It has made the AirPods Max more usable, and I find myself using them more often because of the ease of use. So 2 thumbs up for this. They didn't send me this. I bought this with my own money because I wanted a good Max AirPods Max solution. So there's that.
Nice.
Boom.
I just thought it was really funny that your problem with them being on all the time was that you were confused by the names, which was your choice when setting them up. You could have named them AirPods Pro, AirPods Max.
Here's the deal.
What?
Here's the deal. Yes, you can name your AirPods, and I do have separate names. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I have AirPods Max and AirPods 3. They are named differently. In my iPhone, they're named differently. But some recording platforms, like the one we're using actually right now to record this show, does not pull those names in the audio input and output settings. Zoom is also similar, where a lot of times it will just say AirPods. It won't have your custom name as your audio input output device. And so if I have my AirPods 3 connected and my AirPods Max are for some reason not asleep around the computer, Zoom and other software only says AirPods, even though I have separate names for it. So that is the issue. It's not that the Mac or my iPhone doesn't see the names. It's these, calls and stuff. So anyway.
Yeah, but can't you just set, when you're setting up for podcasting here, can you choose like system output, like for the whatever? So you don't have
just
to
use
choose
the
just
default?
whatever chosen? Yeah.
I don't trust the default setting. I don't trust it. I never know what that default setting's doing because my Mac Studio has built-in speakers. I have a studio display with built-in speakers, and a lot of times the default will just kind of be on one of those for whatever reason. So
you just look. It's right there in Control Center.
I don't trust it, Andrew. I'm not doing it. I don't want to do the default. I don't trust it. That's the deal. Because look, I'm looking right now. I look at my sound settings. It's studio display speakers. And I mean, I can select whatever, but I also have here's the other thing too. I have 30 AirPlay devices in my house. I have Apple TVs. I have Sonos speakers. I have HomePods. I have my Nix-Pre 3 connected. I have a screen recording software that appears as an audio output. Studio display. I have 30 devices there in the sound thing, and it could just be randomly connected to any of those. I don't trust it. I want to select the device that I want to use in the software I'm using. I don't understand why this is so difficult.
You change it in the software. Why don't you just change it in Control Center?
No, I don't trust it. I don't trust the default anything. When I'm using a piece of software
does
to record,
your computer just randomly, for no reason, start connecting to speakers and things in your house?
But I never really mess with the Control Center thing, and so I never know what it's on. And I don't trust this. Let's say I select default speakers. Let's say choose, in my Control Center, I accidentally had studio display speakers selected. And so I enter a Zoom call. I say, use my default audio device. So now I'm in the Zoom call. I say, it's using my default audio. My default audio is the speakers. I need to change my default audio. So I go to Control Center, click sound, and click my AirPods. I don't trust Zoom to get the hint. I don't trust Zoom to be your default. Okay, yeah, we'll use the AirPod. I don't trust it. Nope. Not doing it. Listeners, come to my defense, listeners. I want to know.
Is there a phobia for this?
Yeah, it's an audio output phobia. Audio output phobia. I don't trust it.
If you're changing one, you might as well change the other one, and it's just there. It's just done for everything else that you use. Instead of having to change it per app. And can't you test isn't there a test mic and test?
Yeah, but listen, usually when I'm doing a call, it's like 10:59:59, and I'm opening the software. And so I'm not going to check Control Center and Zoom what it's doing. I'm in Zoom or I'm in whatever. I want to click the thing. Listeners, please come to my defense. I want to know, are you guys like animals and you're leaving it on the default audio all the time and just trusting every application to get it right? Or do you choose carefully crafted, artisanal audio inputs and outputs every time you open it? That's right. I am a bespoke audio output connoisseur.
Oh, man.
Handmade. Okay? That's how I do.
That's a Tinder profile. That's not going to get you many swipes.
I'm going to have to share that clip on social media. That was pretty good. Anyway, I got me worked up, and we're at the end of the show. Okay, well, listen, let's spend this energy answering some listener questions because we got a few writing in. So let's hit them. So Braden Newell on Twitter, he's asking any recommendations for HomeKit space heaters. I'm not sure why he tweeted me, but listen, Braden, I live in Florida again, okay? There's no such thing as space heaters down here. People don't even understand what those words mean. But HomeKit space heaters, he said he was using a smart plug, but now he wants to control the heater from the app. So he wants a HomeKit-enabled space heater. He was looking at the Rio Arc, which we had talked about many moons ago on this show, but they've seemed to drop HomeKit support. I didn't know they dropped it, but... again, I really have no idea what space heaters are available out there and if any of them are HomeKit. But Andrew, do you know of any?
No, the Arc is the only one that I was aware of.
You reviewed it like
Yeah,
a year ago. Yeah.
I have it. It works great. I didn't know anything about dropping HomeKit support, but I can definitely reach out and check.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at your review right here. I mean, I would assume even if you get it, I mean, if it supports HomeKit and it has like the code and everything, I don't know why it would stop. Although I'm on the Rio heating website. I'm looking at the Rio Eco Plus, and it does say works with Google Home, works with Amazon Alexa. It does not say HomeKit, so maybe new models don't support it.
Well, let's say I'm seeing right now that ceramic core electric radiator type thing, which I agree I don't see HomeKit listed on, but if you find the ARC, it should still work just fine.
Yeah. I'll give you one other option, though, which is a Govee space heater. It's an electric space heater, connects via Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It has an app. You can use it with your iPhone, and it does integrate with HomeBridge. Again, you're going to have to, it's a little bit of a workaround, but if you really want to get it in HomeKit, you can. $100 Govee space heater. I'll put a link to the Amazon on the Amazon link in show notes. You can save an extra $20 when you apply this coupon, so you can get it for $80. So again, not perfect, but if you can at least use the app, and if you want to HomeBridge it, get it into the Home app that way. So that is that. Next question. This is from a mystery person. I don't know who this is from, but it looks like this might have been a message to you. They say, I built a smart home and been struggling with accessories dropping off HomeKit on a fairly regular basis. They have Leviton dimmer switches, a bunch of Wemo plugs. Every month or two, a couple of them drop off HomeKit and have to go through deleting, restarting, rejoining, and all that. And he has an Apple TV 4K first generation as his hub, which should not be an issue. I mean, you shouldn't have that issue anyway. But I will say I experienced this as well now that I have literally like 30 HomeKit light switches in my house. The Wemos and the Maris ones, actually not so much the Maris. It's really the Wemo ones. I do have to reset them sometimes. I actually just had to reset one last night for a closet light. It was not connected anymore to HomeKit. My automations wasn't running, and it was weird. So I had to hold the button and reset it. My recommendation, this is not a good, fun recommendation, but maybe try a thread light switch, like the new Wemo thread light switch, or maybe try the Eve one when it comes out, because in my experience, my devices that are thread enabled have not required any resetting. And I do have like a thread Eve plug, and I believe actually my Wemo plug is thread, and my Wemo thread plug has not needed to be reset, while the Wemo light switches without thread have required resetting. Also, Lutron, never have ever needed to reset any of those ever. So if you really want like rock solid reliability, a Lutron is a great option. And I will say my Maris ones have been pretty solid. They're not thread, and they don't have, I haven't tried their dimmer. I just used their on-off switch, but that's been pretty reliable as well. But go with thread, go with Lutron. What do you say, Andrew?
Yeah, I like those. I do not always think that thread is the answer. I know we talked about like earlier in the show that the Twitter thread about a thread version of the Flare. The original person was asking for an updated version of like the Eve Energy Strip, and something like that doesn't even bother me to add thread. Like you don't need to add thread or you don't need to replace that version necessarily in your home, because Wi-Fi is still really good. So unless you had just like a space issue where it's not reaching your Wi-Fi network, but you can extend a thread network out, that makes sense. But for stuff that's like Wi-Fi enabled, especially in your home, I don't mind it. The Leviton ones for me have been perfect. Never needed resetting that are Wi-Fi. Lutron, again, not thread, works over its own RF signal, I believe. There's a lot of different ones out there that I've had no issues with the Bluetooth version of the E1. It's always perfect, if not just a little bit slow. So I as much as I love thread, I don't think it needs to be in every product, but I would say like in general, resetting things that has not happened to me at all. Like the most extreme case here to fix it is to wipe out your home and repair everything like from a fresh start. And sometimes that can just clear the system. Like something seems to be airing out, and my guess would be your home hubs. So make sure those are reset, because those are kind of dealing with some of the like adding things to your account and setting up all the automations and things. So if your Home Hub like forgot, then that could be it. So try just even a normal restart, plug and unplug or whatever button command. If you want to get more extreme, remove your account and sign back in so it's reactivated as a Home Hub. Most extreme solution, wipe out your home through HomeKit and then set everything up again, because you shouldn't be having random devices forget that they're in HomeKit.
Yeah. All right, and our last question, this comes from Mike from Miami, Florida. Hey, fellow Floridian, but he's an OSU grad, so he's there you go.
So I think we win.
Probably. But he's asking about home security. We get this question periodically, and we always typically recommend the Abode IOTA home security system because it integrates directly with HomeKit, and you can do self-monitoring, or you can even pay for professional monitoring, but it's not a long commitment. You can pay like for a month or two if you're going to go on vacation or just going to be away for a little while, and then you can not pay for ongoing monitoring later. You can get the door, contact sensors, and all that kind of stuff. And again, it works with HomeKit. Otherwise, you could do a DIY type system with like Aqara. You know, Aqara has like an alarm. Their hub can act like an alarm, at least the M1S, I believe. And it's like a speaker, and it shows up as an alarm system in the Home app, and you can arm or disarm, and you can connect that with the Aqara contact sensors. But there's, as far as I know, not like monitoring that you can pay for with that system. So typically we say Abode. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I like the Abode system a lot. He's also kind of asking for resources and going all in and stuff. For resources, I would throw out that Home Devices app. That's pretty neat because one, it combines a lot of HomeKit news into a feed, but you also have the benefits of like all the device categories and stuff like that. So you can kind of filter down. So if you're looking for contact sensors, you can see HomeKit ones that do that, security systems, stuff like that. I would start with like the security aspect first, the alarm system first, because there's fewer of them. There's only a couple kind of out there, including the Abode system we talked about. What's nice is like all those Abode things, all those contact sensors that you set up would be exposed to HomeKit, so you can use those for any of those automations as well as for the Abode security system. That's the bummer with HomeKit is you have to match the contact sensors and motion sensors to the security system you're using if you want to use those to trip the alarm. I can't just use an Eve contact sensor to trip my Abode alarm for some reason. Yeah, so that would be my main thing. The other thing to check out would be the ecobee system. A lot of people already have the ecobee thermostat, but if you pair their contact sensors and stuff like that, as well as even with their camera, they have a whole like security offering that can monitor for people and movement and doors and everything else when you're home, and they can do it based on proximity and stuff like that. And that has a professional monitoring aspect as well, I think with or without the camera. So there's some cool stuff that ecobee is doing for some good prices. And a lot of people already have like the thermostat, which is kind of the core to their system. So yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, you can get 24/7 professional monitoring from ecobee for $10 a month, which is pretty slick. Data directly routed to 911, unlimited cameras. That's a pretty good deal. Yeah.
And their cameras support HSV, whereas the Abode one doesn't. So that's another benefit.
Okay.
But I don't know if it shows as an actual security system in HomeKit. So you're still HomeKit with all your devices there, HomeKit secure video and everything like that, but you're adding on this professional monitoring and stuff through ecobee. So gotcha. I think best of both worlds there.
Yeah. We'll put links in show notes to both of that and everything we talked about. Listeners, tweet at Andrew and myself. Come to my aid on this whole audio input-output device. If you use the default setting, I got to know. I just got to know. So tweet at Andrew and myself. Twitter handles in the show notes. Or comment on the YouTube video when it goes up, youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. You can watch the show there. And, of course, keep leaving those 5-star ratings and reviews. We appreciate everyone who does that. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.